600 light years from Earth, there is a world that looks familiar, too familiar. It has water, it has warmth, it orbits a star almost identical to our Sunday. And for years, scientists have called it something that should terrify you, a second Earth. But here's what they don't tell you. If you actually landed there, you might never stand up again. This is Kepler-22b, and nothing about it is what it seems. In 2009, NASA launched a telescope into space with one mission: find Earth. Not our Earth, a copy. After 2 years of searching, scanning over 150,000 stars, the Kepler Space Telescope locked onto something. A planet orbiting comfortably inside the habitable zone of its star. Not too hot, not too cold, the kind of orbit where liquid water can exist. Where life, in theory, could breathe. They named it Kepler-22b, and the world paid attention. Because on paper, it reads like a miracle. Its star, Kepler-22b, burns almost exactly like our Sunday. Same temperature range, same class, same quiet, stable energy output. The planet completes one full orbit every 289 days, close to our 365. Its estimated surface temperature? Around 22 degrees Celsius. That's a perfect spring afternoon. For a moment, astronomers let themselves believe they had found it. The planet humanity had been searching for since the first time someone looked up and asked, "Are we alone?" But here's what that number hides. 22 degrees is a model estimate. It assumes the planet has no atmosphere, no clouds, no greenhouse effect, no unknown chemistry in the air. And planets, real planets, are never that simple. Because Kepler-22b has one measurement that changes everything: its radius. At 2.4 times the size of Earth, Kepler-22b is not a twin. It is something else entirely. Something we don't fully understand yet. And that single number, 2.4, is where this story turns dark. Picture Earth beneath your feet. You know this gravity. You've lived inside it your entire life. Every step, every breath, every heartbeat calibrated to 9.8 meters per second squared. Now land on Kepler-22b and feel what changes. We don't know Kepler-22b's mass with certainty, but physics gives us a range. If this planet is rocky like Earth, its gravity could be anywhere from 1.2 to over 2 times what you feel right now. That doesn't sound like much, until you do the math. At twice Earth's gravity, a 180-pound person weighs 360 pounds, not metaphorically, physically. Every movement, every breath, every time your heart pumps blood to your brain, your cardiovascular system built for one gravity suddenly fights twice the resistance. Your spine compresses, your lungs work harder just to expand. Athletes in peak physical condition have reported feeling crushed under high-gravity simulations lasting minutes. On Kepler-22b, that's every second of every day. Now watch what happens when we go further. Because gravity isn't the only variable. Scientists classify planets by what they're made of, and Kepler-22b sits in one of the most dangerous categories we know. At 2.4 Earth radii, it almost certainly falls into what's called a super-Earth, or something even stranger, a mini Neptune. Here's why that word should unsettle you. Neptune is not a rocky world. It has no surface. What you think of as ground, solid, stable, something to stand on, may not exist on Kepler-22b at all. Beneath any atmosphere could be a deep, crushing ocean of water, under pressures so extreme the molecules themselves behave like nothing on Earth. Water that isn't liquid, isn't ice, but a state of matter called superionic, where oxygen atoms lock into a crystalline structure while hydrogen moves freely through them like a ghost. You wouldn't sink into it. You couldn't stand on it. It would be unlike anything human hands have ever touched. And the atmosphere above it? On a planet this size, gravity holds onto gas more aggressively than Earth ever could. Whatever mixture of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, or water vapor exists up there, it sits thick, heavy, pressing down with a weight our instruments can't yet measure. Venus has an atmosphere 90 times denser than Earth's. It crushes spacecraft within hours. Kepler-22b could be worse. This is the moment the fantasy breaks. Not in a dramatic explosion, not in a monster, in the simple, indifferent physics of a world that was never built for you. There's one more thing. The light. Kepler-22 burns slightly cooler than our sun, meaning the light on this planet would feel different, warmer in tone, more orange than the blue-white you're used to. But the radiation profile? Unknown. If the planet lacks a strong magnetic field and we have no confirmation, it has one solar radiation hits the surface with nothing to stop it. On Earth, the magnetosphere is invisible armor. We forget it's there. On Kepler-22b, that armor may not exist, and without it, standing in the open isn't just uncomfortable, it's a slow erasure. Here is the question that doesn't leave you. If this world is so hostile, why does it look so much like home? That tension is not accidental. It's at the center of everything we're trying to understand about the universe. For decades, the search for habitable planets focused on one condition above all others: the habitable zone, the orbital distance where liquid water could exist. And by that definition, that single, narrow definition, Kepler-22b qualifies. But habitability is not a single condition. It is a symphony of conditions that took Earth 4.5 billion years to array. The right mass, the right atmospheric chemistry, the right magnetic protection, the right moons stabilizing the axial tilt, the right plate tectonics cycling carbon through the crust. Remove any one of those instruments, and the music stops. Kepler-22b passes one test. Just one, and we built a headline out of it. This is what the science is actually telling us. Not that we found a second Earth, but that we found a world orbiting in the right neighborhood, and we have almost no idea what it's actually like. We cannot see its surface. We cannot measure its atmosphere directly. We cannot confirm if it has oceans, or continents, or a core that generates a protective magnetic field. We gave it a hopeful name, and projected onto it everything we wanted to find. There is something deeply human about that, and something deeply dangerous, because Kepler-22b is not alone. Since its discovery in 2011, Kepler and its successor TESS have identified over 5,500 confirmed exoplanets. Dozens sit inside habitable zones. Most, when examined closely, reveal conditions that would end a human life in minutes. The universe does not build planets for us. It builds planets. And occasionally, one of them ends up in a position where we can survive. That is what Earth is. Not a template, a rare accident. And yet, Kepler-22b still holds something worth carrying. Even if its surface would crush you, even if its sky is a toxic vault, even if there is no ground to stand on, the fact that it exists in that orbital zone means one thing the universe keeps confirming. The conditions for life are not rare in their ingredients. Water exists across the cosmos. Carbon is one of the most abundant elements in existence. Energy pours from 100 billion stars in this galaxy alone. What's rare is the arrangement, and somewhere in the 200 billion galaxies beyond our own, the odds quietly suggest that the arrangement has happened before. Not here. Not Kepler, year me kid, but somewhere. That is the real weight of this planet. Not what it is, but what it means that we found it, that, in the act of searching, in building a telescope, launching it into the dark, and pointing it at one small patch of sky, we prove that planets like this are not exceptions. They are everywhere. If you want to keep going deeper into these questions, the ones science hasn't answered yet, subscribe, because we're just getting started. 600 light-years away, Kepler-22b keeps orbiting, indifferent, unchanged, real. We named it a second Earth because we needed it to be one, but the universe doesn't negotiate with need. It simply is. And maybe that's the most important thing this planet ever taught us. Not that we found another home, but that we were looking, and we haven't looked nearly far enough.